Have you ever wondered what would happen if you started your day at 4:00 a.m. every single day? Imagine waking up while the world is still quiet. Before distractions take over, this early time gives you a chance to focus, plan, and work on what truly matters. It's not about waking up early just to be busy. It's about using those peaceful hours to build habits that change your life. How would it feel to take control of your time and your mind before anyone else is even awake? What if the key to your success, your clarity, and your energy is hidden in those early morning hours? In this video, I'm going to share powerful reasons why waking up at 4:00 a.m. will transform the way you live and work. Stay with me to learn how this simple change can bring discipline, momentum, and real growth every day. Number 1, wake up early and take full control of time. Waking up early, specifically at 4:00 in the morning, is one of the most powerful decisions a person can make if they truly want to take full control of their life. I'm not talking about doing it once or twice. I'm talking about doing it every day. You see, life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. And one of the simplest yet most difficult changes a person can make is to change the time they start their day. Now I want you to think about something. Every single person on this planet gets 24 hours in a day. Not a second more, not a second less. The question is, how are you using those hours? Are you owning your day, or is the day owning you? Waking up at 4:00 a.m. gives you something most people are missing. Time that belongs only to you. The world is quiet. No one's texting you. No emails are coming in. There are no demands being made. You don't have to answer to anyone. You are not reacting. You are acting. That silence, that stillness, total control, that is where your power begins. You might say, but it's hard. I'm not a morning person. I understand. But let me ask you this. How bad do you want to change your life? Because success doesn't wait for convenience. Growth doesn't show up when you're comfortable. It shows up when you're consistent. If you wake up at 4:00 a.m. every day, you are giving yourself a head start that most people never experience. You gain 2, 3, maybe even 4 extra hours compared to the average person. That adds up to over 1,000 hours a year. That's over 40 extra days. Imagine what you could do with 40 extra days. Learn new skills, build your business, work on your health, read, reflect, build your future. And it's not just about getting up early. It's about what you do with the time. You can sit in silence and think about your goal. You can write your thoughts down and understand yourself better. You can exercise and build discipline. You can learn something that puts you ahead in your career. You can plan your day so clearly that nothing catches you off guard. When you start your day at 4:00 a.m., you start with intention. You don't stumble into the day. You step into it. You are no longer surviving your day, you are shaping it. The mental shift is incredible. You begin to feel in charge. You begin to feel stronger. You begin to notice that you're no longer just reacting to life. You're directing. Most people start their day already behind. They wake up late. They rush. They skip breakfast. They check their phones. They go straight into stress. Then they wonder why they feel anxious, scattered, tired. But you, when you get up early, you slow it down. You breathe. You stretch. You think. You prepare. And because of that, you're not chasing time all day. You're ahead of it. And something else happens when you start waking up early. You begin to respect your time more. You don't waste hours on things that don't matter. You don't say yes to distractions. You stop giving your attention to anything that doesn't move you forward. You become more focused, more intentional, more aware of how valuable your minutes really are. And it starts to affect the rest of your life. Your health improves because you're sleeping on purpose and waking up with purpose. Your energy increases because you're moving your body and feeding your mind early in the day. Your confidence grows because you're doing something most people are not willing to do. That discipline, that routine, it builds something strong inside of you. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Waking up at 4:00 a.m. is a decision you will have to make every single day. There will be mornings you want to stay in bed. There will be nights when you don't want to go to sleep early. But when your why is strong, your excuses become weak. You don't wake up early just to wake up early. You wake up early because you've decided your goals are more important than comfort. You've decided that you want to be ahead, not behind. You've decided that average is no longer acceptable. And every morning you get up at 4:00 a.m., you are proving to yourself that you mean it, that you are serious, that you are committed. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You'll miss a day here and there. That's fine. What matters is what you do the next day. You get up again. You take control again. You get back on track. Because the more you do it, the stronger your habits become. And eventually, it's no longer something you try to do. It becomes who you are. People will say it's too extreme, that it's unnecessary, that life should be more balanced. But those same people often feel stuck. They talk about change, but they don't act. They dream about better days, but they never do anything different. If you want to live differently, you have to act differently. And that starts with how you start your day. Waking up at 4 a.m. doesn't just give you more time. It gives you an edge. It trains your mind. It sharpens your focus. It builds your work ethic. It teaches you patience. It creates momentum that lasts through the whole day. And when you start stacking day after day with that kind of structure, strength, and discipline, you start to feel a shift inside. You begin to believe in your ability to change. You begin to trust yourself. You realize you are capable of much more than you thought. You stop waiting for motivation and start building habits. You stop blaming your circumstances and start creating better ones. And that's the difference between people who talk and people who do. People who wait and people who move. People who react to life and people who lead it. Waking up at 4 a.m. is a choice to lead your life. Not in theory, not someday, but today, tomorrow, every day. And if you keep making that choice, if you stay consistent, if you keep showing up even when it's hard, your life will begin to change. Because you're not just changing your morning, you're changing who you are. Number 2, build discipline by rising before the world wakes up. If you want to change your life, start by building discipline. And one of the best ways to do that is by rising before the world wakes up. That early hour is your test. It's your challenge. It's you against you. No noise, no audience, no pressure. Just your decision to rise or to stay the same. And that decision says everything about your future. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build. And you build it in the moments when nobody's watching. That's why waking up before everyone else matters so much. It's not about impressing anyone. It's about proving to yourself that you are in control of your actions, not your feelings. It's about saying, I do what needs to be done, even when I don't feel like it. That's real strength. When you rise before the world, you're choosing to go against comfort. And every time you win that battle, you become stronger mentally. You train your mind to stop negotiating with laziness. You stop letting your mood decide your day. You stop waiting for motivation and start moving with purpose. That's the edge you get when you commit to early mornings. It's not about being a morning person. It's about being a disciplined person. Most people hit snooze. They say they'll start tomorrow. They want success, but they avoid struggle. But those early hours are not about punishment. They are about preparation. They teach you to show up even when it's uncomfortable. They shape you into someone who follows through no matter what. And that's the kind of person who builds a life they're proud of. When you wake up before the world, everything changes. Your mind becomes sharper. Your intentions become clearer. Your distractions disappear. You're not reacting to life. You're directing it. And it starts with one decision: to rise while others sleep. You see, discipline isn't built in one moment. It's built in hundreds of quiet decisions. It's built every time you get out of bed, when it's easier to stay under the covers. Every time you show up, when no one claps for you. Every time you stick to your routine, without needing permission or praise. That's where it happens. That's where the real transformation begins. Early mornings create space for you to focus. There's no noise from the outside world, no messages, no traffic, no distractions, just you and your plan. That's the time to review your goals. That's the time to sharpen your skills. That's the time to build your body and mind. And over time, those hours compound. They don't just make your day better, they make you better. You become more reliable, more organized, more steady. People start to notice your consistency. They see that you don't need to be pushed. You push yourself. That's what separates disciplined people from the rest. They don't just want change. They do what it takes to create it. Day after day, even when it's boring, even when it's tough. And if you're serious about success, real success, not just the kind you talk about, then you need that discipline. Not for a week, not for a season, for life. Because everything meaningful requires effort. Your health, your career, your relationships, your peace of mind, they all demand consistency. They all demand sacrifice. And the best way to train that mindset is to start with your mornings. Waking up before the world gives you that advantage. It builds self-respect. You look in the mirror and know you did something hard. You didn't need applause. You didn't need anyone to hold your hand. You chose the harder path and you walked it. That's the kind of pride that pushes you forward. Even on the hardest days, you start to notice the difference. You stop rushing. You stop blaming time. You start making progress. You become more productive, more focused, more stable. You don't rely on inspiration. You rely on structure. Because now you have a system that works, and discipline is what builds that system. People will doubt you. They'll say it's too strict, too serious, too much. But those same people are waiting for change. While you are becoming it, you are not following the crowd. You are setting your own standard, and that's what great people do. They don't seek easy, they seek growth, and they use discipline to get there. You might not feel like it every morning, that's normal. But feelings don't build strong lives. Habits do. And when you stick to your early morning routine, no matter how tired you are, you're shaping habits that will carry you through every challenge. You stop depending on how you feel. You start depending on what you've trained yourself to do. And this doesn't just affect your mornings. It affects everything. You eat better because you're more mindful. You work smarter because you planned ahead. You speak with more confidence because you've already won the first battle of the day. You sleep better because you earned it. You live with more clarity because you're not always catching up. You're leading the way. That's what happens when discipline becomes part of who you are. You no longer fight the same battles every day. You've made the hard things automatic, and that frees you to aim higher, to build more, to give more, because your energy isn't spent battling your own laziness. It's spent building your vision. And here's the truth. Not everyone is willing to do this. Most people want results without effort. They want rewards without sacrifice. But if you're still listening, if you feel that pull inside, then you already know you're not like most people. You want something real. You want a life that reflects your potential. And to get that, you need discipline. You need structure. You need the kind of effort that starts before the sun rises. Every time you rise early, you prove to yourself that you are capable of change, that you are stronger than your excuse, that your time matters, that your goals matter. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You start creating your own momentum, and that momentum will carry you into places you never imagined. Because now you're not held back by comfort. You're powered by commitment. So not just once, but every single day. Decide to rise early. Decide to build discipline. Decide to show up when it's hard. Because on the other side of that decision is a life that reflects effort, strength, and purpose. That life doesn't come from hope. It comes from habit. And the most powerful habit you can build is the discipline to rise before the world does. Number 3, start your day strong with purpose and clarity. Your day doesn't begin when the clock says it's time. It begins the moment you decide to start with purpose and clarity. That decision, made every morning, is what sets the tone for everything that follows. If you want to get ahead, if you want to feel in control of your life, if you want to stop drifting and start building something meaningful, then you must start your day strong. Not by chance, not by routine, but by choice. Waking up early is not enough if you don't know what to do with that time. You need more than just minutes. You need meaning. You need to wake up knowing why you're awake. You need to know what you're working toward. Because when you begin your day with a clear purpose, every task feels different. It's no longer just a to-do list. It's a step forward, a step toward the life you want, the person you want to become. Too many people wake up already overwhelmed. They open their eyes and feel the pressure of the world before they even stand up. Their mind is scattered, their focus is weak, and their energy is already leaking into distractions and noise. But it doesn't have to be that way. You have the power to start your day with focus instead of confusion, with strength instead of stress. And that power comes from setting clear intentions right from the start. When your feet touch the ground in the morning, you should already know what matters today. What deserves your time? What deserves your energy? You don't need a perfect plan, but you do need direction. Because if you don't have direction, someone else will give you theirs. And suddenly your day becomes reactive instead of productive. You're chasing instead of leading. You're surviving instead of building. Starting your day with purpose means choosing your priorities before the world throws its problems at you. It means you've taken time to think, not just about what you need to do, but about why it matters. It means you've looked at your goals and lined up your actions to match them. You're not just working hard, you're working in alignment. And that creates a kind of momentum that nothing else can. You don't need more time in the day. You need to use your time with more intention. A strong morning isn't measured by how fast you move. It's measured by how clearly you think. It's about being awake, not just physically, but mentally. Knowing what you're doing, knowing what you're avoiding, and knowing what you're building. That's what clarity gives you. And clarity always leads to confidence. Confidence doesn't come from hype or empty motivation. It comes from knowing you're in charge of your direction. It comes from seeing progress, not because things are easy, but because you're focused. And every day you start with purpose. You grow stronger in that focus. You stop questioning yourself. You stop wasting time. You stop letting outside noise drown out your inner drive. And this is not about perfection. It's not about rigid schedules or doing everything right. It's about intention. It's about beginning each day with a mindset that says, I know what I'm here for. I know what matters most. I will not waste this time. That mindset changes how you walk into your work, how you handle challenges, and how you treat yourself. People who start their day strong don't wait for life to give them direction. They take it. They create a rhythm, a personal structure, a habit of clarity, and that structure frees them. It frees them from doubt. It frees them from regret. It frees them from the endless cycle of doing things without meaning. Because every action they take has a reason behind it. Without purpose, your energy gets scattered. You jump from task to task. You stay busy, but you don't feel fulfilled. And at the end of the day, you're exhausted but empty. You wonder where the time went. But when you start strong with real clarity, you gain control over those hours. You make choices instead of guesses. You make progress instead of noise. You don't need 1,000 tasks. You need a few that matter. And you need to begin with them before distractions try to steal your time. A strong morning means you've chosen your direction before your phone starts buzzing, before the emails roll in, before the demands pile up. You've already grounded yourself. You've already prepared. That gives you a calm strength that lasts all day. And here's what most people miss. When you start your day right, you end it with pride. Because you know you showed up with intention. You didn't let the world push you around. You didn't drift. You decided. The daily decision builds a stronger version of you. One that is stable, steady, and self-led. This doesn't take hours. It doesn't require a complicated routine. It requires commitment. Wake up, breathe, think clearly, and act with direction. Maybe you journal your thoughts. Maybe you review your top goals. Maybe you plan your most important task. But you do it with focus. You do it with purpose. And you do it without delay. The more you live with clarity, the less you chase. You stop chasing approval. You stop chasing distraction. You stop chasing short-term feelings. Because now you're driven by purpose. That purpose becomes your anchor. It holds you steady when things get chaotic. It reminds you what matters when everything feels urgent. When you live with that kind of clarity, people notice. You speak differently. You move differently. You carry yourself with quiet strength. You don't rush. You don't complain. You work with intention. And people respect that. Because clarity is rare. Most people are just reacting. You're building. Most people are drifting. You're choosing. That's what starting strong really means. It means you've decided your life is worth more than just surviving. You're not here to waste days. You're here to make each day count. You're here to shape your future with your choices, not with luck. You're here to live on purpose. So don't leave your day to chance. Don't roll out of bed and just hope for a good outcome. Set your direction before you move. Think clearly before the world gets loud. Move with purpose before distractions find you. Do it every day, even when it's hard, even when it's quiet, even when no one sees. Because that's how strong days begin. And strong days lead to strong lives. Number 4, use quiet mornings to plan and think deeply. If you want to design a better life, start by using the quiet mornings to plan and think deeply. Those early hours before the world starts moving are not just moments of stillness. They are moments of opportunity when everything is silent and no one is pulling at your time or energy. You finally have the space to focus your mind on what truly matters. That time isn't empty. It's full of potential if you learn to use it right. Most people rush into their day without ever thinking about where they're going. They wake up, check their phones, respond to messages, and dive straight into doing. They're busy all day, but they're not thinking clearly. They're reacting, not planning. They're moving, but with no direction. That's why so many people feel stuck, because they never take time to stop and think. But in those early quiet hours, you can step away from the noise. You can step out of the chaos and into clarity. There are no distractions in the stillness of the morning. No demands, no pressure, just you, your thoughts, and the chance to reflect. This is where real progress starts, not with more hustle, but with deeper thought. This is the time to ask yourself real questions. Where am I going? What do I want? What's holding me back? What needs my focus today? Without that reflection, it's easy to get lost. You could be working hard every day and still be heading in the wrong direction. That's why thinking deeply in the morning is not optional. It's essential because it saves you from wasting weeks, months, even years chasing things that don't actually matter. When you take time to think in the morning, your decisions become sharper. You stop guessing and start choosing. You don't get distracted as easily because you've already locked in on what's important. Your time becomes intentional. Your energy is not scattered. It's directed. And all of that starts by giving yourself space to plan. Planning in the quiet of the morning is not just about organizing tasks. It's about stepping back to see the big picture. What are your priorities? What goals are you building toward? What do you need to eliminate? What do you need to double down on? These aren't questions you answer in the middle of a busy day. They need your full attention. They need your full awareness. And that kind of awareness only comes in the quiet. When you sit with your thoughts in the early hours, something shifts. You're not rushing. You're not stressed. You're calm. And you can think deeply about the kind of person you're becoming. You can look at the patterns in your life, the habits you've been keeping, the mindset you're carrying. And if something doesn't feel right, you have the space to make changes. You're no longer living on autopilot. You're living by design. That kind of planning builds confidence. Because now, instead of waking up and drifting, you're waking up and deciding. You're not reacting to life. You're setting the tone for it. You're taking control of the day before it takes control of you. That confidence follows you. It changes how you show up. It changes how you work. It changes how you handle problems. Because you're no longer guessing, you've already prepared. And here's something important: when you give your mind that time in the morning, you also become more creative. Great ideas don't come when your mind is overloaded. They come when it's still, when you're not rushing to meet deadlines or responding to messages. They come when you're fully present. And those quiet mornings are the perfect time to tap into that creativity, to brainstorm, to write, to see things in a way you wouldn't during the noise of the day. This is how breakthroughs happen. Not always during action, but during reflection. That deep, undistracted thought is where solutions come from. It's where clarity comes from. It's where you get honest with yourself about what's working and what isn't. Without that, you're just repeating yesterday over and over again. And repetition without reflection is how people get stuck in lives they don't even like. So use the morning to set your vision straight, not just for the day, but for your life. Review your long-term goals. Break them into daily steps. Ask yourself what matters most today and why. Don't just plan what to do. Plan how to do it right. Who do you want to be while doing it? Calm, focused, consistent. That identity work matters just as much as your action plan. Because without becoming the person who can handle success, no amount of effort will make it last. And once we start using the mornings for this kind of deep thinking, you'll feel the difference. You'll feel more grounded. You'll stop second-guessing yourself so much. You'll start saying no to the wrong things more easily. You'll stop wasting hours in confusion and doubt, because you've already set your course before the rest of the world even begins to move. The morning doesn't need to be filled with noise. You don't have to jump into the day full speed. Take the time to sit in silence, breathe, write, think, reflect, visualize your goals, map out your next move, and do it with full presence. This isn't time to rush. This is the time to align. Once you've done that, everything else becomes smoother. The chaos of the day doesn't knock you off track, because you've already anchored yourself. This habit, if you build it, will give you clarity every single day. It will help you make better choices, take smarter actions, and avoid the traps that keep most people stuck. It will separate you from the crowd, not because you're better, but because you're more intentional. And over time, that intentionality will lead to results most people only dream about. Don't waste the most powerful part of your day. Don't hand it over to noise, distractions, or protect it. Use it. Respect it. Because those quiet moments, those first minutes of the day, are not just about peace. They're about power. They're where your future is shaped. They're where your growth begins. They're where you get the chance to think clearly, plan wisely, and step into the day with real direction. So make it a habit. Get up. Be still. Think deeply. Plan honestly. Be real with yourself. And from that place of stillness, build your day with strength, clarity, and purpose. Because that's how real progress begins. Not in chaos, but in calm. Not with noise, but with focus. Not by chance, but by choice. And the choice is yours every single morning. Number 5, take charge of your goals with early focus time. If you're serious about turning your goals into reality, then you must take charge of them during the early hours of the day when your mind is fresh, focused, and undisturbed. There's no better time to lock in on what matters than when the world is still and your energy hasn't yet been pulled in 10 different directions. That quiet, focused time in the morning is where momentum is created. That's where dreams start turning into plans, and plans into action. Too many people go through life letting the day control them. They wake up late, feel behind, and spend their entire day responding to whatever shows up. They say they have goals, but they never seem to have time to work on them. Not because the goals aren't important, but because their focus is scattered. Their attention is pulled in every direction. By the time they find space to think clearly, the day is already gone. But when you claim those early hours as your own, you're no longer in survival mode. You're no longer playing catch-up. You're ahead. You're prepared. You've decided that your goals matter enough to give them your best, not your leftovers, and your best attention. Your best focus is in the morning, not after distractions, not after decisions, but right at the start. That's the time when your thoughts are clearest, your energy is steady, and your willpower hasn't been drained. That's when you have the highest chance of doing focused work that actually moves your goals forward. You don't need hours. You need undivided attention. You need space where nothing interrupts your flow. You need that mental state where it's just you and the next step forward. When you wake up early and give that time to your goals, you are telling yourself something powerful. I am responsible for my future. I'm not waiting for conditions to be perfect. I'm not depending on motivation. I'm choosing action. That mindset builds something deep in you. It builds trust. It builds self-respect. Because every day you follow through, you prove to yourself that you're committed. It doesn't matter what your goal is. Maybe it's starting a business, getting fit, learning a new skill, writing a book, or improving your finances. No matter what it is, it needs focused time. And the morning is the best place to give it that time. Not because you have to, but because you understand the value of starting your day with progress. You understand the power of moving one step forward before anything else gets in your way. Because that's where transformation happens. That's where confidence grows. That's where lives are changed. Not by chance, but by choice. And the choice is yours. Every single morning. That early focus time is your foundation. Without it, your day is unpredictable. Things come up. People demand your attention. You get tired. You get distracted. But when you put your goal first, before the noise, before the chaos, before the world even wakes up, you've already made a deposit into your future. That one choice, repeated every day, creates real lasting results. This isn't about being perfect. You'll have mornings where it feels hard. You'll have days where your energy is low. But if you stay consistent, even when it's not ideal, you're building momentum. And momentum is more important than motivation. It doesn't have to be dramatic. You don't need to make huge leaps. You just need to take control of your focus when it's at its strongest. You don't get closer to your goals by waiting. You get closer by doing the work when it counts. And nothing counts more than the time you give your dreams before the rest of the world takes over your mind. That's why this time is sacred. It's not optional. It's not negotiable. It's the space where your future is created, one focused session at a time. And if you're thinking it's too early, too difficult, too uncomfortable, I want you to ask yourself this. Is comfort more important than change? Is convenience more valuable than growth? Because if you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. And that starts with making your goals a top priority. Before the sun comes up, before distractions wake up, before you're pulled in other directions. This kind of focus is rare. Most people drift through the day and hope something changes. But hope is not a strategy. You don't get results by waiting for the right moment. You create results by choosing your moment. And the best moment to work on what matters is when nothing is standing in your way. That's what early focus time gives you. It's not magic. It's just quiet control and clarity. When you sit down in those early hours, free from notifications, free from interruptions, your work is deeper. Your thinking is sharper. Your decisions are better. And because you're ahead, everything that follows becomes easier to manage. You're no longer playing defense. You're leading with purpose. You begin to notice how much more you get done. Not just in the morning, but throughout the entire day. Because once your goals are handled, you feel lighter. You don't carry guilt. You don't feel behind. You walk into your responsibilities already having done something meaningful. That confidence changes how you show up, how you speak, how you lead, and the people around you will feel the difference. They'll see the change. They'll ask how you're so focused, so disciplined, so clear. But what they won't always see is that you've simply claimed a part of your day for what matters, that you made a quiet decision to stop postponing your potential, that you showed up when it was still dark, not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. And that's what real commitment looks like. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's quiet, consistent effort when no one's watching. It's giving your energy to your priorities before anyone else can take it. It's saying, I will lead my life, not just wish for better. That's the kind of strength that builds something great over time. If you want better results, start by owning your morning. Give your goals the focus they deserve. Not just once, not just when it feels good, but every day. Carve out that space, defend it. Number 6, practice gratitude and set intentions before sunrise. If you want to begin each day with strength, start it by practicing gratitude and setting your intentions before the sun rises. That time before the world begins to move is more than just a quiet moment. It's your chance to choose how you show up to life. Most people roll out of bed and immediately feel rushed, stressed, and overwhelmed. But if you start your morning by giving your mind the right focus, you begin to feel grounded, calm, and clear about where you're going. Gratitude is not just a feel-good habit. It's a shift in perspective. When you begin your day by recognizing what's already good, what's already working, what's already in your life that matters, your mind becomes lighter. You stop waking up feeling like something is missing. You stop focusing on what you don't have. You stop comparing yourself to others. Instead, you connect to the real and simple truth. There is already so much you can be thankful for right now. Take a few moments before the world wakes up and write down what you appreciate. It doesn't have to be grand. It could be your health, a warm bed, a second chance, a lesson you learned, a person who supports you. When you do that, something changes inside you. You start your day not in frustration, but in peace. You realize that life is not just a list of things you want. It's a collection of blessings you already have. And once your heart is in the right place, your mind is ready to work. That's where intention comes in. Setting intentions before sunrise is about deciding how you want to live the day ahead. It's not just about your schedule. It's about how you're going to show up mentally, emotionally, and physically. What kind of person do you want to be today? What kind of energy do you want to carry? What do you want to give to the people around you? Without clear intention, your day can easily drift. You get pulled into distractions. You react to problems. You lose track of what matters. But when you take control of your mindset early on, when you decide what you stand for and what you're committed to, everything becomes clearer. You stop running in circles. You stop chasing noise. You start living on purpose. This doesn't require hours. It takes a few minutes of focused thought. Sit down in silence and ask yourself what truly matters today. Think about what you're building. Think about who you're becoming. Speak it out loud or write it down. Maybe it's patience, maybe it's focus, maybe it's kindness, maybe it's bold action. Whatever it is, declare it. Say to yourself, this is who I choose to be today. That decision creates a strong inner foundation that doesn't shake when challenges come. Gratitude clears your heart. Intention strengthens your direction. When you put those two together first thing in the morning, you create a powerful mindset that carries into everything you do. You're no longer chasing peace throughout the day. You've already created. You're no longer waiting for clarity. You've already claimed it. And that shows in how you walk, how you speak, how you work, and how you lead. The world is unpredictable. You don't always get to control what happens, but you do get to decide how you begin. You can either wake up and let the day push you around, or you can wake up and decide what you're bringing into the world. And gratitude and intention are two of the most powerful tools you have to do that. You don't need perfect circumstances to be grateful. You don't need every detail of your life to be figured out to set intentions. What you need is presence. You need to stop for a moment. Slow your thoughts down and notice what's already here. And then you need to look ahead with honesty and ask yourself where you want to go. That's the foundation of a strong, focused life. Starting each morning with a clear heart and a clear mind. If you skip this step, you might still get things done, but you'll feel disconnected. You'll wonder why you're moving fast, but not feeling fulfilled. But when you start with gratitude and intention, your actions begin to match your values. You stop wasting time on what doesn't matter. You start living with a deeper sense of meaning, and that meaning makes all the difference. This is something you build day after day. You wake up, you give yourself a few minutes of stillness, and you remind yourself of the bigger picture. You're not just here to get through the day. You're here to grow, to serve, to move forward. You're here to lead your life, not just survive it. And it starts with where your mind is, before the sun even rises. And here's something else. This morning practice doesn't just affect you. It affects how you treat others. When you begin your day in gratitude, you become more patient, more understanding, more generous. When you set clear intentions, you don't react from emotion. You respond from clarity. That has a ripple effect. It improves your conversations. It strengthens your relationships. It creates an energy around you that people feel. There's something powerful about a person who's centered, someone who knows what they're thankful for and what they stand for. That kind of person doesn't get lost in comparison. They don't waste energy on gossip or drama. They have a quiet strength, a grounded focus. And it all begins with a simple commitment to start each morning from the inside out, not from the outside in. You might think you don't have time for this, but the truth is, you don't have time not. 5 minutes of gratitude and intention can save you hours of stress, distraction, and confusion later in the day. This is not extra. It's essential. because it sets the tone for how you handle everything else. A strong morning mindset leads to strong daily action, and strong action, repeated consistently, creates lasting change. This isn't about being perfect. Some mornings you'll feel tired. Some mornings your thoughts will be all over the place. That's normal. Still show up. Still take the time to reflect. Still choose gratitude. Still set your direction. The point is not to get it right every time. The point is to stay connected to what matters. That's what will keep you grounded, even in the busiest seasons. So begin your day before the world begins to demand your attention. Begin it with presence. Begin it with purpose. Take time to appreciate what's already here. Then decide what kind of person you will be today. Do it again tomorrow, and again the next day. Make it your rhythm. Make it your anchor. Because when you live from that place, you don't just start your day, you start your life with clarity, strength, and meaning. Number 7, train your body and mind before distractions begin. If you want to build a stronger, sharper, and more focused life, then you must train your body and mind before distractions take over your day. The early morning is the one time that truly belongs to you. No phone calls, no meetings, no emails, no interruptions. Just you, your discipline, and your commitment to growth. That window is your advantage. And if you use it wisely, it will change your life in ways you can feel and measure. Before the world begins to fight for your attention, you need to fight for yourself. You need to take charge of your energy, your thoughts, your movement. Because if you don't build your strength in the quiet, you'll fall apart in the chaos. Training isn't about being perfect or impressive. It's about being consistent and present. It's about showing up day after day when no one is watching and doing the work that builds the version of you that can handle what life throws at you. Your body needs to be challenged. It needs movement. You weren't made to sit, scroll, and react all day. You were made to move, to stretch, to push, to sweat. When you train your body early, you wake up every system. Your mind becomes more alert. Your blood flows. Your breathing deepens. Your energy rises. You don't need to wait for motivation to show up. Physical action creates the motivation. You start your day with power instead of pressure, with clarity instead of confusion. It could be a workout. It could be a walk. It could be stretching, running, or lifting. The method doesn't matter. What matters is the message you send to yourself, that you are in charge, that you are not going to coast through the day in a fog, that you are going to be awake, aware, and active. That simple choice, repeated every morning, builds confidence that lasts long after the workout ends. And while you train your body, you also need to train your mind. Because mental strength doesn't come by accident. It comes from daily discipline. It comes from being intentional about what you feed your thoughts. If you don't guide your thinking early in the day, your mind will wander into fear, doubt, and distraction. You'll get pulled in by the news, social media, other people's problems. That's why it's so important to take time before all of that, to strengthen your mind. Read something that feeds your thinking. Write down your thoughts to clear your mind. Focus on your goals. Remind yourself what you're working for. Visualize the future you're building. That process is not wasted time. It's preparation. It gets your head in the right place, so you don't get thrown off by every unexpected turn. A trained mind sees through the noise. It doesn't panic. It doesn't overthink. It focuses. You don't have to be perfect to be consistent. There will be days when it feels hard. There will be mornings when you want to stay in bed, when your body feels stiff, when your mind feels cloudy. But the key is to keep showing up. Even if it's just a little movement, even if it's a few quiet minutes of thought. You're not training for perfection. You're training for strength of body, strength of mind, strength of character. The truth is, most people wait until everything around them is demanding their attention before they even think about themselves. By then, it's too late. They're drained before they begin. But when you put in the effort early, when you move your body and shape your thoughts before anything else, you give yourself a solid foundation. You feel ready instead of rushed. You feel grounded instead of scattered. You are proactive, not reactive. This morning training is not just about fitness or mindset. It's about identity. You're becoming someone who takes responsibility, someone who doesn't need a reason to do the right thing, someone who leads themselves, no matter what life throws their way. That identity shapes every decision you make, and it begins with one habit: showing up for yourself before the world shows up with distractions. You don't need special equipment. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need a routine that serves your body and mind. Keep it simple. Make it honest, and stick to it. The power is not in the complexity. The power is in the consistency. Small actions, done daily, are what separate the focused from the scattered, the strong from the fragile, the leaders from the followers. When your body is strong, your mind feels clear. When your mind is trained, your emotions become stable. You stop overreacting to small problems. You start thinking long-term. You don't waste energy on what doesn't matter. That control, that clarity, is not something you can fake. It's something you earn. And the way to earn it is to train early, before the world gets loud, before your day gets messy. Think of the people you admire, the ones who seem centered, productive, confident. That didn't happen by chance. It happened because they built habits that kept them sharp. They didn't wait for peace. They created it. They didn't hope for strength. They trained for it. They didn't leave their focus up to luck. They practiced it daily. And that practice almost always began in the quiet of the morning. So give yourself that chance. Give yourself that edge. Use the morning not just to wake up, but to rise up. Don't let distractions set your tone. Don't let stress define your day. Start with discipline. Start with movement. Start with mental focus. Build that foundation before anything else begins to pull at you. You'll walk into your day already winning. You'll move through your tasks with purpose. You'll handle challenges with calm. You'll think more clearly, speak more confidently, and act with greater strength. And the best part, you'll feel the difference in your posture, your thoughts, your actions. You won't need to hype yourself up because you've already proven to yourself that you're serious. You've already followed through when no one was watching. That's how self-trust grows. That's how leadership begins. Not in loud moments, but in quiet decisions. Train your body so you're ready for the demands ahead. Train your mind so you don't lose focus when pressure rises. Train them both before the world can pull you in 100 directions. Do it every day. Make it part of who you are. Because that early decision to train is more than just a routine. It's a commitment to becoming your strongest, clearest, and most disciplined self. And that is what transforms not just your mornings, but your entire life. Number 8. Get ahead by finishing work while others sleep. If you want to move faster toward your goals than the average person ever will, you must be willing to finish your work while others are still sleeping. That early time is not just quiet, it's powerful. It's your edge. While most people are tucked under blankets, still lost in dreams, you can be wide awake, already turning yours into reality. This isn't about overworking. It's about being smart with your time, about doing what needs to be done before the world starts moving, and distractions steal your focus. When you begin your day early and use that time to finish important tasks, you take back control of your progress. You don't leave your results to chance. You don't wait for perfect conditions. You get ahead because you're moving while others are standing still. The first few hours of your morning are the cleanest. There's no noise, no traffic, no meetings, no interruptions. Just you and the work. Just you and your purpose. Success doesn't come to those who do what everyone else does. It comes to those who make decisions that most people avoid. Waking up before the world, getting straight to your most important work, and doing it with full attention. That's a decision most people never make. But those who do, they separate themselves from the crowd. They stop waiting. They start leading. That choice, repeated daily, creates a serious gap between where you are and where others stay stuck. Finishing your work early doesn't just give you peace of mind. It gives you momentum. You walk into the rest of the day already having made progress. You're not playing catch up. You're already ahead. And that sense of progress builds confidence. It reminds you that you're capable, that you're serious, that you're not just talking about what you want. You're doing something about it. You don't need to wake up at 4 in the morning and work non-stop for 10 hours. What you need is clear focus and real output in those quiet hours. 1 hour of deep, undistracted work can be worth more than 3 hours later in the day, when everything around you is pulling you away from what matters. That's why early mornings matter. Not because it's trendy, but because it works. Because it gives you full control over your time and energy. If you have goals, you have responsibilities to those goals. You don't hit your targets by hoping. You hit them by creating space for action. You create that space by being up when the world is down. That's when your email inbox isn't full, when your phone isn't buzzing, when no one is calling your name. That silence gives you the chance to actually finish things, to actually move forward, to stop being stuck and busy and start being productive. It doesn't matter if the work is creative, physical, technical, or strategic. Doing it early brings clarity. You're not distracted. You're not mentally drained. You're sharp. You're locked in. You can finish your work with a level of focus that's hard to find later in the day. And once that's done, the rest of your day becomes easier. You walk lighter. You're not dragging a list of unfinished tasks behind you. And this isn't just about professional work. It's also about personal progress. That book you said you'd write, that course you want to finish, that side project that matters to you, that health habit you've been putting off. They all require time and focus. And the best time to give them that attention is when no one else is around to interrupt you. You're not waiting for time to appear. You're creating it. You're choosing growth instead of delay. There's a cost to staying comfortable. Sleeping in, delaying action, waiting for motivation, that costs you time. And time is the one thing you never get back. But when you rise early and get things done, you start gaining time instead of losing it. You start using your mornings to create space, not stress. You start living with urgency and purpose. Imagine how different your life would look if every day started with real progress. If every morning gave you the power to complete tasks instead of just start them. If by the time most people are sipping their first coffee, you've already completed something that moves you closer to your goals. That's a habit that compounds. That's how you outpace the crowd. Not with more hours, but with better use of the ones others waste. People talk about wanting change, wanting results, wanting freedom. But very few are willing to do what it takes. It takes sacrifice. It takes saying no to comfort. It takes getting up and doing the work when no one else is watching. But that's what separates the committed from the casual. That's what turns goals into results. This isn't about rushing. It's about choosing. Choosing to be the person who doesn't need pressure to act. Choosing to take responsibility for your time. Choosing to build habits that support your future. Those early morning hours are not just time. They are opportunity. Every single day you wake up early and finish what matters. You take one more step away from where you were and one step closer to where you want to be. You might not see the results right away, but you will feel them. You'll feel more in control, more clear-headed, more capable, and over time the results show up. In your work, in your health, in your confidence, in the way others look at you. Because people notice those who are ahead. They notice those who don't just talk. You don't need talent to rise early and finish your work. You need a decision that your future matters enough to act now. The decision that waiting is no longer an option. The decision that what you want out of life is worth the effort it takes. You won't regret using those early hours to get ahead. You'll only regret the days you let slip away. So start now. Wake up early. Don't waste the quiet. Don't scroll. Don't delay. Sit down, pick the one thing that matters most and finish it. Make progress before anyone else begins. Build momentum while the world is still asleep. And watch what happens. When you stay consistent, you'll no longer be trying to catch up. You'll already be leading. You'll no longer be hoping to win. You'll already be ahead. Because that's what happens when you finish your work while others sleep. Number 9. Develop mental toughness through daily morning wins. If you want to become mentally stronger, start stacking small wins every morning before the world begins. Those early victories are not just habits. They are proof that you can depend on yourself. Mental toughness isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, one decision at a time, one choice at a time, one action at a time. Every time you rise early and do what you said you would do, you train your mind to stop negotiating with excuses. The truth is, Your mind listens to everything you do. When you hit snooze, your mind records that. When you skip the plan you made the night before, your mind notices. When you delay the work you promised yourself you'd start, your mind starts to believe you can't follow through. But every time you wake up and take action, even when you don't feel like it, your mind starts to believe something new. I can count on myself. Those morning wins don't have to be huge. You don't need to do something dramatic. You just need to do something consistent. Get up on time, make your bed, move your body, journal for 5 minutes, drink water, review your goals, start your hardest task. Each one is a decision that says I'm in control, and those small wins compound. You may not see it right away, but over time, your confidence grows, your focus sharpens, your self-doubt starts to weaken. Mental toughness isn't about being loud, it's about staying steady. It's about doing the right thing when it's uncomfortable. It's about showing up when it would be easier to quit. And that mindset is shaped in the quiet hours of the morning, before anyone else has the chance to pull your attention away. That's where you practice being the kind of person who leads, who commits, who follows through. Most people wait for motivation before they move. They wait until they feel ready. But mental toughness doesn't wait. It acts. And that's what those daily morning wins teach you. That action comes first. That emotion follows motion. That if you want to feel better, you have to move better. You don't control every circumstance, but you do control your decisions. And those early decisions shape the rest of your day. When you win the morning, you stop starting the day in defeat. You stop playing catch up. You stop apologizing to yourself for what you didn't do yesterday. You begin the day knowing you've already pushed through the hardest part, getting started. That early momentum helps you face the challenges ahead with a stronger mind and a calmer heart. It becomes easier to think clearly, to make better choices, and to stay focused when pressure hits. Mental toughness doesn't come from reading about it. It comes from doing hard things when they're the last thing you want to do. It comes from facing the morning fog, the tired eyes, the inner resistance, and still choosing to move forward. That discipline doesn't just help you in the morning. It carries into every part of your life, into how you speak, into how you work, into how you carry yourself when life gets rough. There's something powerful about starting your day with a challenge and beating it. Maybe it's a cold shower, maybe it's a workout, maybe it's focused writing or deep thinking. Whatever it is, the moment you complete it, your brain gets a message. You're in charge. You're not a victim of comfort. You're not led by laziness. You've already proven that you can act on what matters. That proof builds self-respect, and self-respect builds resilience. Because now when setbacks hit, you don't fold. You remember the wins you've stacked. You remember how many times you've followed through. You remind yourself that you've done the hard thing before, and you'll do it again. That's what mental toughness is. It's not just strength, it's memory. The memory of effort, the memory of consistency, the memory of getting back up again and again. You can't buy mental strength, you can't borrow it. You can only earn it. And the best place to earn it is when it's just you in the morning silence. No audience, no praise, no applause, just you, your discipline, and your decision to win the day before it even begins. Don't wait until life gets tough to build toughness. Build it now. Build it when no one's watching. Build it when there's no reward except knowing you've done what most people won't. Because when the hard days come, and they will, you'll be ready. You won't break. You'll bend. You'll adapt. You'll stay steady. Because that's what your training has prepared you for. Every time you wake up and take control of your actions, you create distance between who you used to be and who you're becoming. You're no longer someone who just hopes life gets better. You're someone who's doing something about it. You're no longer waiting for a better future. You're building it one disciplined morning at a time. This doesn't mean every morning will feel perfect. Some days your mind will fight you harder. Some days the temptation to stay in bed will be loud. But that's where the real growth happens. Not on the easy days, but on the hard ones. On the mornings when you're tired, when your body is sore, when your mind is full of doubt. If you can win those mornings, you can win anything. You're not trying to be extreme. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're training your mind to stay strong. You're building a life that doesn't fall apart when things get uncomfortable. And that strength is earned every time you choose action over excuse, effort over ease, progress over perfection. Start stacking your wins, one at a time, one morning at a time. Keep simple, stay consistent, and remember this: mental toughness is not built by accident. It's built on purpose, and the best way to build it is to win the morning before the world has a chance to shape you into something you're not. You shape yourself, you lead yourself, you train your mind with your choices, because in the end, it's not the size of the win that matters. It's the habit of winning over and over, quietly, consistently, relentlessly. That's how you become mentally unshakable. That's how you build the life you deserve. That's how you step into your power. Not the day, but today, one win at a time, starting now. Number 10, create momentum by mastering your morning routine. To create unstoppable momentum in your life, you must master your morning routine with absolute focus and consistency. Every day you wake up is an opportunity to set the tone for what's to come. The moments you spend right after you open your eyes shape your entire day. The better you become at controlling these moments, the more control you'll have over your success, your energy, and your mindset. A morning routine is not just a checklist of tasks. It's the foundation for momentum. Momentum that keeps you moving forward, even when things get hard or when motivation fades. Without a clear and practiced routine, you leave your day to chance. You allow distractions and stress to take over before you even get started. But when you have a routine you trust, you start your day with confidence and direction. Mastering your morning routine means deciding exactly how you want to begin each day, and then following through no matter what. It's the discipline to get up even when it's uncomfortable to do so. It's the commitment to focus on actions that feed your body, your mind, and your spirit. Whether it's drinking water to rehydrate your body, or reading a few pages of a book to feed your mind, or setting clear goals to direct your focus, these consistent actions build a powerful rhythm. When you practice your morning routine daily, you create a pattern in your brain. Your brain starts to expect focus and productivity right away. This makes it easier to shift from sleep to action. You stop hitting the snooze button because your body is trained to respond to your routine automatically. Your mind doesn't waste time debating what to do next. Instead, you move with purpose from one step to the next. Momentum isn't about rushing or overwhelming yourself. It's about consistent forward motion. Small wins build on small wins. That steady progress compounds over time until you realize you're achieving more than you thought possible. A strong morning routine is like lighting the first match. Once that flame is burning, you can keep it alive throughout the day by staying connected to the focus you created early on. You don't need to fill your mornings with complicated habits. The best routines are simple and meaningful. They fit your life and your goals. Maybe you start by making your bed, which sends a message to your brain that the day is organized and you're in control. Maybe you take 5 minutes to breathe deeply and center yourself before the chaos begins. Maybe you write down your top 3 priorities so your mind is clear on what really matters. The power of a morning routine lies in repetition. Doing the same powerful actions daily makes them automatic. You stop having to think about what to do, and instead you just do it. This frees mental space for creativity and problem solving later in the day. It also builds self-trust. When you follow through with your routine, you prove to yourself that you can be counted on. That kind of trust is the bedrock of momentum. Creating momentum through your morning routine also means protecting that time fiercely. This means turning off distractions like your phone or social media until your routine is complete. It means telling others that your morning time is non-negotiable. If you want to master your morning, you must treat it like the most important appointment of the day. Because it is. Every time you complete your routine, you send a message to your brain that you're someone who follows through. You're someone who prepares for success instead of waiting for it. That message builds momentum inside you, momentum that makes getting started easier tomorrow. Momentum that keeps you pushing forward when obstacles show up. Momentum that separates high achievers from those who drift through the day. A morning routine is not a rigid schedule to make you feel busy. It's a tool to make your life better. It's a way to create clarity, energy, and confidence before the world tries to pull you in 100 directions. Master your morning, and you master your day. Master your day, and you master your life. The people who change the world don't wait for the perfect moment. They create their own momentum by mastering the start of their day. They don't rely on motivation alone. They rely on habit and consistency. You can do the same. Start by choosing one powerful habit to include in your morning. Practice it every day. Build on it. Protect that time with everything you've got. Watch how your energy rises and your focus sharpens. Momentum is contagious. Once you create it early, you'll find it flows into your work, your relationships, and your health. You'll be more decisive, more productive, and more resilient. You'll stop feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list and start feeling empowered by your progress. That's the power of a mastered morning routine. Don't underestimate the small things done consistently. They add up to big results. Commit to mastering your mornings. Commit to showing up for yourself first thing every day. Make your morning routine a non-negotiable part of your life. That commitment is your starting point for unstoppable momentum that will carry you toward your biggest goals and deepest dreams. Start now. Own your mornings. Build your momentum. Change your life.